All right, shalom to the sincere brothers and sisters in the truth, the hopeful elect. It's your brother Samat coming to you with another lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, where all praises, honor, and glory are due, and double honors to the elders and apostles. Peace, blessings to the brothers doing this work in truth and in sincerity. All right, so just getting off of the plantation, man, or getting off the gig. Just wanted to go into, not getting too comfortable. The spirit that's been on me lately is removing that spirit of comfortability. And the thing about comfortability is you may not think that you're comfortable with where you are or what you got going on, but through your actions and your mannerisms, you show that you have some level of comfort, or you have an unhealthy level of comfort. All right, and as a man, we ought not to get comfortable, because comfort is the killer of kings. All right, comfort is the killer of men. When a man gets too comfortable, he loses focus of his drive. He loses focus of his purpose. He loses his drive. All right, your testosterone goes down. All right, you stop focusing on your health, your fitness. All right, you lose your charisma, your swagger. You lose that edge to you when you get too comfortable. And I can attest from this personally. Especially when you happens to a lot of men when they get into a relationship. When they get a woman, a lot of times they get comfortable. And the thing about it is, women will do things to get you comfortable, all right, to make you comfortable. But a woman herself does not like a comfortable man. Again, because a man that is comfortable, he loses those intrinsic values and traits that a woman is attracted to, and that it's necessary for a man to be considered a man, if you will. All right? Because those intrinsic values and traits will eventually pour out into the physical, all right, the external, which, like I said, you stop caring about your physical health and diet, and now you're overweight, out of shape, sloppy. You stop caring about your grooming. All right, you lose that sense of kingship, all right, that noble mentality when you get too comfortable. All right, and the scriptures say in Micah, I believe it's 2:10, where it says, "Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it will destroy you with a sword of destruction." It's polluted. All right, and it's talking about this world first and foremost, and second, if your brother's in America, it's talking about America. But first and foremost, it's talking about arise and depart from the spirit of this world, because this world preaches comfortability, and it preaches that you need to be happy, and it preaches that you need to be okay with having, being balanced unrighteously, I should say. Or being balanced, and that balances you partaking in things that are not beneficial to your spirit or to your flesh, right? Like they'll say, oh, it's okay to eat ultra-processed foods here and there as long as it's not a daily thing. Well, in reality, you shouldn't be eating ultra-processed foods, all right? Ultra-processed food shouldn't be in your diet. Now, and then if you do eat some type of like snack or treat or sweet, you should opt for more high quality sweets, things that have less ingredients, because almost everything on the planet today can be made with only a handful of ingredients. Right, if you want to eat ice cream, for example, you can make ice cream with a handful of ingredients. You don't need to have 17, 20 different ingredients like that's on the back of most of these ice cream manufacturers. Right, go to a authentic homemade ice cream or gelato spot. All right, gelato is even better. All right, so it's a higher quality, higher grade of ice cream, if you will. All right, and if you go to a pure gelato shop, an Italian spot, 9 times out of 10, it's made with only a handful of ingredients, and they're using pure cane sugar opposed to ultra processed sugars and high fructose corn syrups and different things like that. But to circle back, it's like I don't know what this. I feel like my camera's trying to adjust or something. But circling back to the point, you know, when you become too comfortable in this world, your moral compass starts to become unaligned, and you start moving in directions that you should not move in. Right? You think you're going north, right? You think you're moving up, but in reality, you're going south, or you're going west, or you're going northeast. Right? It's taking you off course. Whereas we need to be going on a straight path. All right, both literal and metaphorical. All right, so straight meaning difficult, but also straight meaning in one direction. All right, it's a straight path. It's not curvy. It's not zigzag. The path to the kingdom is a simple, straight and narrow path. There's no gimmicks. There's no tricks. There's no schemes. All right, it's a simple, straightforward path, but it's a very difficult path because it's so tight and it's narrow, and everything that's set before you is in a dangerous place for you to fall. And when you become too comfortable, you lose that sense of urgency. You lose that sense of security, or you have a false sense of security. All right, and now you're letting your guard down, and now you're no longer on your spiritual guard. You're no longer on your watch. You no longer have the armor of the Heavenly Father. Now you start to become what? Involved in affairs of this world, right? When the scripture says that no man that warreth entangleth himself with the affairs of this world, right? A spiritual man is going to have his conversation in spiritual things that pertaineth unto life, things that pertaineth unto what? Growth. All right, hard work, difficult tasks. All right, as a man, you should always be in a sort of fight or flight type of situation, right? And what I mean by that is, as a man, you should always be in a position to where you're challenging yourselves and you're putting yourself in a position of difficulty. Because in this life, right, when you think about it, in life would have no meaning without problems to solve. And when I say life, I mean in this world that we live in, because this is not a perfect world, right? This is not a world. This is not a perfect world, right? This is not the kingdom. The kingdom is a completely different story. But in this life, it's meaningless without problems to solve. If you have no problems, if you have nothing to work towards, you become complacent. That's when what? Anxiety and depression and all these fucking bullshit emotions and states start to come into play. But when you're a man and you're constantly putting yourself in uncomfortable situations, you're constantly putting yourself in difficult situations, you're always challenging yourself to new ideas and new problems, right? It gives you value and it gives you virtue, because now every single time you get through a dangerous or difficult situation, you come up on top better. You know, whatever percent, 1%, 5%, 10%, you know, that's going to be contingent upon the level of difficulty of that task, right? And it's very subjective to what that difficult thing is to each man, but every man should be putting himself in some form of difficulty. This is what's going to keep you sharp between the eyes, sharp between the ears, which is sharp in the mind. You know, the brother Yakana in our camp, you know, this brother is always putting himself through physical challenges and physical pain, and it helps cultivate his spirit because it makes him more hardened in the mind, right? Physical exercise is first and foremost for the mind, and second is for the body, because at some point when you start to exercise and you start to train, I like the word train rather than exercise. Exercise is just kind of moving the body for health, but training is when you're really building something valuable, right? Metaphysics, mind, body, and spirit. And then after a while, the training becomes less about physical benefits and it becomes more about mental benefits. And you start to reach physical milestones as a side effect But the goal is to train your mind to persevere and push through hardships. And no matter what situation you get in, you're constantly excelling, you're growing, you're learning, you're adapting, right? This is what's going to make you a valuable man, right? As they say in the world, a high value man. Because we're kings in training, and we need to conduct ourselves as such. And this is just something that we have to meditate on day in and day out. That's why I've dedicated my channel to exhorting the brotherhood to greatness, exhorting the brotherhood to self-growth and self-development, you know? That's what I've dedicated my page to, because that's the mentality I'm in, right? And I'm always looking for ways to get better. And I know I got my problems and my vices and the things I need to work on, but it all starts with awareness, right? You have to be aware of the very things that are holding you back from becoming the man you want to be, right? We want to be spiritual, perfect, just men, right? We want to be like unto Yahawashi. Well, Yahawashi, I think it's safe to say that Yahawashi was on the path of stoicism and development. I think it's safe to assume that, right? Although he had this Holy Spirit and he was perfect, but he was always challenging himself, because he was always going and teaching and contending with the Pharisees and the scribes, and he was always on the move. He was always working. He was always grinding. Yahawashi never got comfortable. All right, we live in this concept and misconception, and I was polluted by this ideology for a very long time. That's why I learned it's kind of like what they say, the Matrix, right? You don't realize you're in the Matrix until you pull the plug, or until the plug is pulled. And I didn't realize that I was in this polluted mentality and ideology that chilling was a good thing. Oh, I don't want to work so much because I want to have time to chill at the end of the night. Oh, I'm only going to have about 30 minutes to an hour to myself to chill and relax at the end of the day. Well, listen, that's what the Shabbat is for, man. That's why the Lord gave us a Shabbat, so that we can be on our grind 6 days a week. And then on the 7th day, we have a literal excuse to just chill and be bums all day, if you will, for a lack of better terms, metaphorically a bum, right? You can just be lazy and do nothing all day long and feel good about it. Why? Because you've labored and you've worked hard for 6 days straight, and now the Lord gave unto you this Sabbath. And now what this does is, now, because to some people, and I was caught up in this too, where I was in a position where I thought that the Shabbat was a burden at some point, or sometimes I thought the Shabbat was a burden. Why? Because maybe I wanted to do this, I wanted to do that, and as I started to work a lot more and I started to grind a lot more, now the Shabbats are a delight, and you start to look forward to the Shabbats coming, and you start to hope that time slows down on the Shabbat so you can really enjoy that time of rest and peace. That's what the Most High gave unto us. But outside of Shabbat, you need to be working, man. You need to be grinding. You need to be putting in work, because you can only be in this. You can only be in the scriptures in the spirit. And I'm not gonna say the spirit, because you can be in the spirit no matter what you do. You can only be in the scriptures and the word, but so much. And you have to have balance throughout your day to where you do other things that are beneficial into the spirit, right? Even the elders and apostles are starting to be more adamant on brothers exercising and taking care of the diet. So you can spend a good portion of your day working, right? Going to work, and you're making money. It's a necessity. Money is a defense. You need to support your family. You need to pay your bills. And there's certain things that you need in this life that are going to help you in the truth, right? You don't need to be in a spirit where you're constantly thinking about money and stressing. So go ahead and go to work so that you're not stressing about bills and all that other shit, right? You have to think like that. I'm working so that I don't have to stress about money and bills. And two, you have to start studying and learning new things that are going to help benefit you in your life. Learn new skills. All right, learn how to cook. Learn how the body works, the anatomy, the biology. Learn about, you know, different different states of the body, you know, autophagy and ketosis and insulin. Learn about these different things so you can understand how the human body works, right? And of course, you have your period of time and throughout the days when you're going into lessons, you're doing lessons, you're going to camp, you're reading, you're studying, you're watching the news. All these things you can do simultaneously as you do other things, right? While you're training and exercising, you can be listening to brothers' videos, right? Or you can be listening to whatever. While you're at work, depending on your job, you can watch videos and lessons, and you can even read in between your downtime. And then of course, in your free time, if you have free time at the end of the night, you can dabble into like some more scriptures. But at the point is, get out of that comfortability mindset and that this false ideology that you need to chill and you need to relax at the end of the night and wind down. No, your winding down is you getting home, you've accomplished all your tasks that you needed to accomplish for the day. You got about an hour to an hour and a half before you need to go to bed because you need to be up at a certain time, and sleep is important, so you need to get at least 7 hours of sleep. So you know you got to be up at 5 a.m. You need to be asleep by 10, you know, to get 7 hours of sleep. You know, if you get off of work at 8 o'clock, you got 2 hours between you go to bed. What you do in that 2 hours is very important. We have to start looking at our time as investments, and we have to start looking at opportunities lost versus opportunities gained, right? Every opportunity that you, or every investment or choice that you make is either it's opportunity lost or opportunity gained, right? So we have to start being more, and even in investing, right? If you invest $100 into Google stock, let's just say, I'm gonna use a different number. Let's say you invest $5,000 into Google stock, right? Let's say this $5,000 was your savings, but you're looking to utilize it to make some money. So you invest $5,000 into Google stock. That $5,000 you invested into Google stock is an opportunity lost for you to invest in another stock or something else. Although this $5,000 investment can be gained in Google stock, it's also opportunity lost that of the potential to invest in another stock. And what that means is, when you make choices to invest your money, I'm gonna just say money, what do you normally do? What do people do? People educate themselves and they make sound and educated investments. So they're not just going to invest $5,000 into Google stock without doing their due diligence and researching the trends and seeing if it is a sound investment. We need to do the same thing when it comes to our time. All right, our time is just as important, if not more important, than investing our money. Because money, right? Time is not money. That's a misconception. Time isn't money, right? Because money is a value that is intrinsic, it's placed. There's a value placed on it, right? And usually when it comes to money, it's a renewing source, right? Whereas time is a resource that cannot be renewed and is very limited, right? In this world time, but in the world to come, of course not. So we have to remember that. Let me see if I'm trying to see if I get my light to come on. Time is a resource that is limited. All right, once it's gone, and it's never coming back. So we need to look at time as an investment. So what we decide to invest our time in is going to determine where we go and what we get. All right, so Lord willing, this video is edifying. Until next time, shalom.